right.
All right.
What's up, buddy?
Not much, but
White Label Podcast back again, brought to you by our good friends at Mill Street Organic. Sun, 4.2%, and our good buddies over at Moog Audio as well. Go check them out; they'll hook you up. And in front of me right now, DJ Morgan Shim.
Hey, nice to see you guys. Finally getting the house. I love
buddy?
Mill Street. It's my favorite beer.
It is. Hey, it's a
Fine beer. Yes.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, man.
There we go. So I first came into the Morgan Shim world, I'd say about 3 years ago.
Wow.
And you've been doing a lot longer than that, but
Yes.
I heard you playing the deep sort of soulful vocal tip.
Right.
I believe it was at Sunnyside.
That's right, yeah.
And you were banging it out, and I thought your sound was something that people weren't really playing. Like, it was off the beaten path. And there were a lot of people that were playing, I guess, if you're into whatever
Right, yeah.
it was scene or whatever, circle you roll with. But from my perspective, it wasn't getting played at all the clubs I was listening to, or I was going to, sorry. And now, summer 2012, it's like the deep, sort of soulful, sort of has left the underground, has come more mainstream. So is that something that you got into when you first started to DJ, or did you sort of morph your sound into that as you went along?
Definitely, like, it's probably been the starting point of a lot of my sound. I find a lot of those Sunnyside parties, it's kind of outdoor, bordering your, pool, beach party, whatnot. And I always find that kind of sounds way, I guess, more appreciated in that kind of environment.
Definitely.
If it was inside a club in the night, it's 2 a.m. and probably come a little harder than that. But I love that sound. It's a great, sound to dance to. I find people groove a lot nicer to it. And, I'm big on, the African sounds, a lot of Congo and bongo with vocals. So I like to mix everything up a little bit. But I like to play a story through all my sets. So I usually start at a certain point and end in, some kind of a story, and that's the way, that whole idea of everything and how it goes. So.
Taking people on a journey, so to speak.
Exactly, yeah. Instead of just kind of sticking to one sound through the entire set, and eventually, sometimes people get bored or it just gets a little bit too repetitive in that sense. So
For sure, definitely.
Something in the middle, bit of vocal, a little bit of instrumental on the same time. So.
Yeah, I noticed you just came back from LA on Memorial Day too, and you were playing Roosevelt's
the
Beach Party.
Roosevelt Beach Party, great.
Mark Farina?
Mark Farina, I was probably the busiest I've ever seen it. Homemade LA and all those guys. Frank Boise, we've been doing that party for a long time, and it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and the weather's always hot there, so it's a really great place to do it. And that was more of the Jack and House scene, but we start soulful, start with the beach, start with the pool, and then we move from there. So it's been a really good party. They've been really fortunate to get me down quite a bit. So
cool, awesome, man. How'd this all start for you, brother? Taking it back to the roots of Morgan Shim.
Yeah, probably more than like 15 years ago, probably 16, 17 years. Started, doing, high school parties, the jam, the semi-formal, things like that. And then just kind of progressed into there. And, I did a long stint of a lot of hip-hop and R&B.
We're mirroring each other right now. Where'd you grow up? Like Scarborough?
Actually, Mississauga. Not so gangster as Scarborough.
Okay.
But that was basically the roots. And I actually introduced a lot of hip-hop and R&B sampling, remixing into, and sort of kind of like a house mashup into my sound. I'll play a few of those later for you. So, I like to fuse sometimes tech sounds and deep sounds with a lot of like hip-hop samples and kind of surprise the crowd. I find, especially in our generation, in new generation, educating the new in a lot of the old sounds, and you'd be surprised how many songs are basically non-original, but still sound great, most if any, right? And I love when you in a club and somebody recognizes that sound, and the hands in the air and everyone's loving them, like, oh, I haven't heard that in so long. So that's kind of basically the background of my sound and how I got started. So I like to fuse a lot of different types of music, but ultimately into more of a deep tech sound.
Nice.
So.
Well, that's also, I guess, coherent to your tractor setup, because I noticed you're a tractor guy, and you're actually able now to have your 4 decks playing. You can have those acapellas, you can have those loops, lace your instrumentals, and just create on the fly. Whereas before, you had to carry your crates, and it's like, okay, all right, I have to have doubles of this record and throw this acapella over that. It's so much easier now, right? Well, here's a question, man. Being a tractor guy, what's your opinion on the whole sync issue?
You know what? I used to be a big non-believer of the sync issue.
Okay.
I don't really use it that often, but I do find there's some bit of an art of being into a long mix, extending your mixes, a little longer, and providing with the whole emergence of effects, you can from delay to like double beating and all that stuff. Having the sync sometimes allows you to be more hands-free, and not to say that you can't do both at the same time. A lot of people can, and that it's a bit of an art. I would say a lot of the new generation DJs have trouble doing that. They didn't learn. I used to have a record player with no pitch control on it. My father
had one of those too, bud.
My father,
there you go.
My father didn't want to buy. Not even couldn't afford. Didn't want to buy me a Technics 1200 back in the day, or even a Gemini.
Yeah.
I had to sit there with the old Fisher, turntable and spin the thing with my finger.
Yeah.
And try to beat match against a cassette player, and that's how I started. And that whole old school way has taught me how to.
That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Because when you actually get into decent equipment and you're actually able to play around with something that's industry standard, it's like nothing to you, right?
Yeah. So like you could beat match without a pair of headphones if I really wanted to. Would it be clean? Probably not over a certain amount of time. But that kind of sound of respect and listening and the hearing the beats is a bit of an art, and it's a bit of a lost art. So I don't respect the sync as much. I do now that I know, because I know I can do it the other way.
Yeah.
But I find anyone who comes out in the whole DJ world should learn how to play it the right way first, and before using the sync and cheating too early. So
I think it's a creativity issue too. If you're, like you say, if you're able to put the beat on, which a lot of guys can, a lot of guys can't, but if you're able to, it opens up that creative door. So you have the time that you would have spent putting that beat on, whether it's 10 seconds, a minute, however long it takes you. You can now add that extra track in. You can now layer that extra sample.
Right.
You can throw in that extra effect, right? It just adds that extra element to each set, right?
Agreed, yeah.
But hey, to each their own, right? If you're sitting there and that's all you're doing is pushing the sync button and running 2 tracks, like, really, guy?
I know.
Really?
I'm big on looping, and a lot of people use the sync for the wrong reasons, and I think that's the main issue right now. So
having the, I guess, diverse musical tastes and the ability to switch sounds and, as you say, like deliver the sounds that the crowd wants to hear, it's sort of opened doors for you to play in different venues, not only in Toronto, but I guess all over the world, really.
Right.
You've become more of an international guy recently, I've noticed, and I think that playing a room, like, say, on a Friday night at Maison, and then playing a room like Blowfish, one of Zark's restaurants, or even like a smaller lounge environment, it's sort of a different mentality. So how would you prepare for a set that you would normally play, like a big room at Maison or a small room at, say, Blowfish?
Yeah,
because I know those are your 2 spots right now, right? I'm just going
massively. I love the lounge experience. I love giving people the opportunity to just kind of like bob their head and listen to good music. There's too many restaurants out there with pretty shit music, so it's a little bit of I love to give people that ambiance and whatnot. They don't have to be getting up on a table and dancing, and I know they're still enjoying the music. Do I love the big club? I love it. I love the big bass. I love playing in a Function 1 sound system. It's great. A head in front of you and 1,000 people in front of you is fantastic. You always say that's nicer than having like 100 people in front of you, but
it's not really
the case. No. I totally agree. It's the venue and how the people react. You could have the greatest party in the world with 50 of your closest friends, and you'd still have a blast. Right? As long as there's alcohol, you're good. So how I prepare for that kind of stuff is not a big playlist guy. I tend to get a playlist in the sense where I have a certain songs I feel like playing, but I like to keep my options open all the time. It's I guess if you think play like an hour, and you might see that's it's about like 15, 25 songs or so. Put like 35 or 40 in there, and then roll with it, right? Sometimes you don't even go through that, and you just kind of filter through, and you say, it comes to you, and you just want to play that. So it's important. I just find people have started getting too systematic in the way they program their sets, and they won't deviate from that. Sometimes you have to, and if it starts off, if the crowd's not feeling you, then you're gonna have to change something.
You gotta have that option, that flick of the switch. So if something's not working, you got the next tool and that next weapon to just switch it over to whoever needs be, right?
Yeah. I'm a big change believer in not programming but being prepared. But I'm not a big believer in just saying these are the 20 songs I'm gonna play and never gonna play anything else.
No.
So
there are clubs you have to play those 20 songs, but it's good that the venues that you're in, they allow a little bit more creativity.
Yeah, massively. So you want to be that person who that person hires you, and they hire you because they know what kind of sound you can bring, and not expecting you to come in and play trance music. There's too much drama in the streets, and I don't Dennis Fair getting kicked off at Mansion.
Oh wow, yeah,
You
for
know,
even Farina
in Vegas, you know, it's too house. Like, well, I don't know.
Really?
Last I checked, didn't you hire the guy for a reason? And it, you know, that's how it's changed so much. You know, I was just in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. It's
EDC.
No, a week before that, I don't think I could handle another big carnival like that. But you know, it's just trance is taken over, and that's fine. You know, everyone likes a certain kind of brand and whatnot. It's not you know, we have Digital Dreams coming here, and you know, it's not, I'm not hating on the sound or anything like that. But you hire people like Miguel Miggs and Mark Farina, and you hire them for a day party. You know exactly what you're getting. I'm not too sure what they were expecting, but
well, the problem with Vegas, and I'm not a promoter in Vegas, but I find from being in Vegas and going to those parties, it's more just, I think you get a bunch of people that look at a DJ list and they see they have like the top 100 names, and they're like, okay, here's the top 10. Who's rolling through town? Book this guy, and this guy.
Right.
And you'll get like Miguel Miggs playing right after Ferry Corsten, and I've actually seen that happen where, like, you know, I've seen Lawler play at Wet Republic, and right after him was Ferry Corsten. I'm like, these two sounds do not go together, but who's booking these parties?
I know. And then you got the crowd complaining, you got the owners complaining, and then, you know, who adapts to who, basically, right?
But again, at the end of the day, it's the almighty dollar. They don't even need to book these DJs.
They got the guys popping the bottles and things, spending thousands of dollars. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think it's kind of adapt or die mentality right now in the whole house music world. It's no different in any other genre out there. At the end of the day, clubs are there to make money, and, you know, I guess you got to understand that. But, you know, maybe it's the promoters, not so much the club owners these days. You know, you got to know your crowd.
That's it. And if your crowd is coming to hear Miguel Miggs, or sorry, Mark Farina, or any of these guys, and he's playing too housey, and you give him the boot, what happened to the people that were there? Like, I mean, the people that were supporting him.
It's a total shame, because, you know, people actually paid money for this, and Vegas ain't cheap no more.
No, it never was.
You go to Encore Beach Club, you're staying in the hotel, still got to pay $50 to get in, and you know, it's changing. You know, it's good to see house music on the rise again, in a world where, you know, urban basically took over for the last 10 years, and now hip hop songs are dance music now.
Really.
But now it's a big fight of what is electronic music now, and you know, it's slowly branching out, and then, you know, I think there are too many genres in my opinion. But people don't know how to specify their music now. That's the only problem. If you're gonna create 10 different kinds of house music, you know, I think they're all getting labeled incorrectly. I don't think house is the word anymore. Like, it's got to be something house. It's got to be deep house. Tech house is a trance. You know, it's got to be
progressive is sort of taken the lead in terms of the commercial, like the go-to commercial stuff. I mean, you have your top 5, top 10 DJs that are putting this stuff out there that's considered cheese, quote unquote. I mean, it is what it is, but I mean, you can't stop the evolution from taking place. You're gonna have the, you know, the cheesy top 40 music in every genre, in rock and in hip hop. I mean, there's just that style. The masses, that's what they want to hear. I mean, it's sad. I mean, it's like lemmings off a cliff. I mean, these people will listen to whatever the radio feeds them, and they won't deviate from that. And it's good that, like you say, that the boom in EDM, it's taking place. I mean, it's awesome for us, because I've had this conversation with people that have been sitting in the same chair as you, bro, and if 10 people listen to Avicii that didn't listen to, you know, house music before, maybe one of them will listen to a set by yourself or a set by Mark Farina, and if that's the case, win for us.
I totally agree. They always say selling out's the new keeping it real now. So. Nothing wrong. If someone wants to give me $1 million to do a remix for them, I won't say no, guys.
There you go. Hey, give this man a shout. He's down. Well, hey, production-wise, I mean, I heard you've started to delve into the whole production world now. How's that going for you?
It's going well. It's a bit of a learning curve, don't get me wrong. You know, you've always said you knew stuff, and once you start getting really involved in it, it becomes really difficult. It's not that easy. You know, there's a lot of people out there who might, you know, are quote-unquote producers, but have guys standing behind them doing all their work. You know, there's something to be said about being an idea man, and that's great. But I guess I wanted to do it the route where I was the idea man and the actual producer. You know, once you get the song out there, you can go get it mastered, and that's great. And so I've worked on a few things. I actually just not too long ago recently finished my first original track. Nice. You know, I've been doing a ton of remixing changes and whatnot, you know, re-edits or how you call them. But this is the first original track, you know, played in all those years where my mom used to kill me to play piano as a kid. It finally paid off. You know, I used to I used to hate it growing up as a kid, as a typical Asian child who has to play piano at the age of 4 years old. I always got in the way of all my sports, but
everything happens for a reason.
Looking
and now it's paying
back,
dividends.
I haven't played in a while. It's been quite a while since I last played, but it's like riding a bike. Once you start going and to get going, I'm picking it all up again. So, it's really helped me in my production value, and I'm big on piano. So it's that's something we're working on right now. So on the podcast, I'm gonna start with my original track. It was a Shady Lady Scat. I took the scat sample, and a lot of people don't know it, but it came from the Come Baby hip hop song, like K2, yeah.
Nice.
So I grabbed it from there, and obviously that was taken from somewhere else, but that was one of my favorite hip hop songs growing up as a kid. And
cool.
It just came to me. I was listening to it on Sirius Satellite Radio, and I'm just like, oh, that's a really good sample.
Ding.
But yeah, so move into that, and right now I'm currently working on a couple of remixes for the indie group Morchiba. Hopefully you can get that out very soon. I'm on the tail end of remaking the song Even Though and Blood Like Lemonade, which is the title of their last album. So there's a lot of things happening right now. I'm kind of spending a little bit more time there and a little less time out in the open.
You mentioned to me that you're actually starting to take courses as well, production courses through the UK program.
Yes, that's actually finished. I spent about 4 months or so polishing up on my Logic courses and whatnot, and did that online part time. It's hard having a day job still and doing this, so a lot of hours put in, but it's worth it. I just want to do it properly and do it right, and not have to sit there YouTubing videos on how to do this. So there's sometimes a right way to do things and a wrong way, I guess.
What was the name of the course you took?
It was Point Blank online. So Point Blank is a UK-based school, very reputable. You guys should check it out. Big respects to all the people there who taught me everything. And to be honest, it's very interactive, very online, and you can work on your own schedule from abroad as well. You don't have to worry about being somewhere at a certain time. So it's been really good like that. So.
Cool. And you've obviously translated this into your production as well. Have you found that it's helped you out in terms of the learning curve has brought you to where you are now?
Yeah, totally. I had the fortunate, actually, I've been very fortunate to actually have people like, Dave Auday, Andy Caldwell, all those guys listen to my stuff, and, well-noted producers, and, people like Auday have moved on to do, really big things for a lot of big top 40 artists, and, get to send stuff to them, and they, get it critiqued. And these guys, were pretty impressed that it was first track done, and it helps a lot. I recommend it to anyone. Is it the cheapest route to go? Not really. But if you can afford to take the time and the money to do that properly, I think it's the right way to do if you're serious about that
for sure
production. So
definitely. Yeah. So I'd say the last couple of years you've really started to branch out into your outside of Toronto, so to speak. What would be your most memorable night you've played in a club? And this is a vast, big question, but if you can nail it down to just one that you hold close to your heart, what would it be?
It was the first time I played in LA at Echo in Hollywood. It was a rare Wednesday night in no respect. It was me, Andy Caldwell, and the EC Twins, who have now moved on to quite big careers in Las Vegas. People can say they're residents at Marquee right now. And that was a big milestone. It was basically my first U.S. date, in North America. And
how long ago was this?
Geez, I don't even remember. I would say like maybe 4 years ago. I would say 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not too sure. Time's passing by way too fast these days. But yeah, no, it was a great experience, and it was kind of like my first breakout, and there and meeting the promoters and whatnot. It's allowed me to get quite a few dates out there, and I would love, I never had my stake in Europe yet, but I would love to get out there and play. It's a different scene out there. I don't think many people even know who Jay-Z is out in Europe. So, there's a mad respect for house music out, especially in places like Germany. Would be a lovely place. I wish I could play there. My sister lives in Sweden. I don't even know how I've not gotten out there yet. So,
well, hey, that seems to be the next logical step. I mean, we've moved into the U.S. now, so I mean, hey, next year or so, if you keep the production going, bound to have someone pick it up and somebody hear you over there. Yeah. And if you have family over there, just get your sister to plant the roots, man.
Yeah,
sure, she's got somebody down there who can hook you up in a club.
It's crazy. Like I would say that in with my SoundCloud stats. and you know, you get to see where a lot of people are listening and downloading your music.
Yes, for sure.
In Europe, the most highest rated percentage is probably Belgium.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly. And how that came about, I'm not even too sure. You know, you expect Canada and obviously US to be there and whatnot. You know, I got Mexico quite high right now as well, but Belgium and you know, I got I think Netherlands is in there. Yeah, it's really
Germany's big for me for some reason. I don't know what it is. I guess maybe they love their tech. I don't know. I was playing a lot of tech back then, and now I'm more sort of moving into different sounds and whatnot. But yeah, the reach is crazy, man. Like with SoundCloud, I had this conversation with Jello, and like you would make tapes, you know, and you'd hand them out. I mean, imagine making thousands of these things, and how long it would take to get to that many people. Now it's just like boop, done. And
it's crazy. Like the whole emergence of, you know, the mixtape died for a while, you know. Easy. We look back at our hip hop days. I used to listen to Baby Blue mixtapes.
There you go, Baby Blue Sound Crew, Essential Sound Crew, starting from scratch, high school dances.
Yeah, I used to play with those guys back in Waterloo. You know, we used to roll like a Climax in the Bubba Cons.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So, you know, it's been a while, but the whole mixtape was a big controversy. And I remember when the cops came and raided Played a Record, and you could not even get a mixtape. Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and then everyone went there and was like, "Oh my gosh, where do I get my music from now?"
Yeah.
So it's changed, you know. Everything's changed for the music.
For the better.
Yeah, it's for the better just because of the reach. But I would say the intentions right now for people to become famous and quote unquote rich is falling dramatically. I think you know, the more you get involved, the more you realize a lot of the money never hits you as an artist. And you know, it's you know, before you still had to go HMV and buy a CD for $26.99, you know, $30, and everything's basically $1.99, and how much the artist actually sees right now, not that much. And that's why a lot of DJs are becoming new rock stars. Yeah, they spent their life performing music in front of crowds, and you know, recording artists didn't have to do that too much. They just had to sell, you know, platinum out CDs, and you know,
that's it.
Maybe tour a little. But now, if you don't have a Live Nation contract, you're nobody basically. So it's tough. It's a tough business now, and you know, the labels have taken a lot, and a lot of guys try to start their own labels, but what they don't understand is you can't just sell your music on iTunes or Beatport or Track Source. You know, you have to show a certain amount of sales and, you know, be proven basically, and then get your music up there. Otherwise, when you go on places like Beatport or iTunes, you just be flooded with terrible music. So I realize why they do that, and I totally respect that. It's hard, you know. A lot of guys give up a lot to just get noticed, and it's tough because some of them get famous and then realize they never see a penny. You know, they go through a third party, and you know, they take 95% of everything you make, and your song all of a sudden becomes a hit, and you've just made absolutely nothing. But you know, it's all in the name of trying to become famous, and it's fine. You know, everyone has their own ways to get there, and you know, however you get there is just the way it is, I guess.
Morgan Shim wants to become famous.
Doesn't everybody?
Let's make it happen.
We're just giving free beer.
Well, what's next on the docket for you, bro? What's coming down the pipe?
Oh yeah, you know what? I've been very quiet. I'm traveling quite a bit these days. You know, I guess non-DJ wise, so I'm kind of gonna be off the charts for a little while. But I'm gonna stick in the studio and work. There's always the summer parties coming around. I tend to not book myself too far out. These times, so much happens and there's so much on the go. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see what's going to come out in the summer. Usually pretty busy. You know, Sunnyside's always a possibility, and you know, I'm sure I'll be back at Maison, but you guys have to stay posted online for that all to go down. But,
and where can we find all this information out?
On my website, you can go morganshim.com. All the dates, music, videos, you know, pictures, everything. You know, top 10 lists. You know, to hear what the latest and greatest is, and
I was on your website. What's Shimwood House?
Oh, Shim's Wood House. A lot of people don't know that. I mean, it's the name of my series, obviously. You know, I'm on volume 12 right now. Always trying to bring something new, and the title always says it, whether it's the deep side of the tracks or, you know, remixing. You know, my favorite series is Classic Samples Remade, where I take classic samples from hip-hop, old house songs, and remake them all. And that's kind of become my sound, obviously. But Shim's Wood House derives from literally my house. If anyone's been to my house, it's basically planted with cedar in the front, and it's literally a wood house. So that's basically where it came from. My studio's in my basement, so we used to have jam sessions down there, and everyone would say, I'm going to Shim's Wood House, and it just kind of stuck, and that's the reason why it's Shim's Wood House. But I guess my whole theory behind it is like wood is basically can be shaped in anything. And, the wood can be obviously hard, or you can cut it, you can shape and make it anything you want, and that's kind of what kind of sound it brings. So it just, but it has a little bit of a double meaning. So people who know me very well know that that's literally because I live in a wood house. So
dropping knowledge, people, old school stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Any shout outs, brother?
Big shout outs to my two managers, Alex and Jeff. You can find a lot of their events. We do, from old and new, hosted by Alex and Jeff. Everyone at Maison, Capture, when I've been supporting me for the, last year or so. And all the guys out in LA, good buddies, David Bullock, Adam Auburn for Auburn Events LA, which you gotta check out, and Sam Gaglani from Homemade LA. And that's pretty much it, So, great. And thanks to you for bringing me out here. I'm excited to play the podcast for you guys. So,
and that's exactly what we're gonna do.
All right.
Thanks, buddy.
No problem.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
There we go.
You took your 12 steps away, took the life and soul out of my party, and it won't add up to be exactly as you say when I can remember us in our heyday. If you ever think it's staging a comeback, honey, believe I'm ready to run back. I live in a state of high anxiety. I guess you changed the world before you ever changed me. There was a time and a place
Nosotros somos los padres de Manuel Darío. No, hubo un pequeño error. Nosotros somos los padres de Manuel Darío. No, lo que pasa es que está oscuro.
Josecito me decía, cuando era chiquito, pobre, me decía, mamá, me encanta tocar
Darío. No. No, hubo un pequeño error. Nosotros somos los padres de Manuel Darío. No, lo que pasa es que está oscuro. No, hubo un pequeño error. Nosotros somos los padres de Manuel Darío. No, lo que pasa es que está oscuro.
Josecito me decía, cuando era chiquito, pobre,